Assalamu alaikum. Welcome you all in Naeem's Virtual Academy. Let's learn today the use of colon with Ghulam Hussain Naj. The first use of colon, that is this symbol, the first use of colon is to introduce an explanation. Means first you will give introduction of the statement and then you will be placing its explanation. For example, she had one problem. She had one problem. Now this is the introduction of problem. Now what is its explanation? You will place colon. She could never finish her homework. Finish her homework. Right? Another example, if I want to quote for you that I have one rule. I have one rule for traveling. I have one rule for traveling. What is that rule? Colon. Now I'm gonna explain it. Always pack light. Always pack light. Now that's my rule. Right? Full stop. And you can place inverted commas because these are my original words. Right? So first use is to introduce an explanation like this. Second use of colon is to separate independent clauses. Independent clause means they are closely related and they can be write as separate sentences. For example, I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. Now this can be placed alone, but I will separate it with another sentence that is an independent clause. I need to finish this project by tomorrow. I need to finish this project by tomorrow. Now these are the two independent clauses which could stand as sentence separately. ये अलग अलग सेंटेंस के हिसाब से भी आप अलग अलग लिख सकते थे. राइट? तो दो इंडिपेंडेंट क्लासेस को, आज़ाद सेंटेंसेस को एक साथ मिलाने के लिए भी आप कॉलन यूज़ कर सकते हो. नंबर 3, टू इंट्रोड्यूस एन एग्जाम्पल. अगर आपको कोई एग्जाम्पल देना है तो भी आप ये यूज़ कर सकते हो. राइट? कैसे? if she wanted to make a cake, comma, she needed all the ingredients. उसको सारे ingredients की ज़रूरत है. वो ingredients कौन से हैं? all the ingredients. Now for example, now you'll be placing colon here. Right? Flour, eggs and milk, etc. Right? So here colon will be placed to introduce an example. Number 4, to introduce a list in a sentence. How? For example, I like to play all kinds of sports. Now I'll be placing colon. Which sports I like to play? Football, comma, tennis, comma, badminton, and volleyball or golf, whatever you like. So this is how you will be placing colon here. Use number 5 is before a direct quote. Means instead of comma you can also place a colon. For example, she shouted. She shouted, what? Get back to your classes. Get back to class. So she was angry, and it is her direct quote, right? And you can say, a poet said, here instead of comma you'll be placing colon. The only true wisdom is to know yourself. Now, before this direct quote, we have placed a colon, right? Use number 6 is to indicate a ratio or proportion. To indicate a ratio or proportion. For example, the recipe calls for a 2:1 ratio, a 2:1 ratio, for 2:1 ratio of flour to sugar. Ratio of flour means आटा to sugar, यानी आटा 2 हिस्से और शुगर 1 हिस्सा होगा. इतनी ये मीठी रेसिपी है, right? Number 7, use of colon. Number 7, to separate the title from the subtitles in a book or novel or any literary work, right? You can write like this: Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist, colon, a novel by, so this is the title, Oliver Twist, right? And this is the subtitle, a novel by Charles Dickens. You can place like that, right? Last but not least, in time, to separate hours, in between hours and minutes, to separate hours from minutes, we use colon, like 2:30 p.m. right? Here we use colon, or 5:45 a.m. like this, you can use colon. So these are the 8 uses of colon. Thank you so much.